Hello everybody, welcome to G4G here on YouTube. Today, as you can see, we are in Marvel Future Fight, and this is going to be my second video concerning some teams that I use for boss kills and alliance battles. So, today, Sunday, we're at the tail end of a Proxima day, and I tried out some new team-ups for Proxima today, and I've decided one of the best ways that I can discuss these team-ups is also to take pictures of the end of it, because everything that I say, unless you are watching me do it on video, could potentially mean nothing. You could be like, well, Napalm, you're saying use X, A, B, and Y, but I don't believe that you can get it done with that team. So, since I treat the world bosses and alliance battles fairly high level, and I like to do those manually on my tablets and such, it's going to be hard for me to kind of get a video of them, mostly because of the fact that with the Android emulators, I have not done the keyboard mapping yet. So for KO Player, Nox, I know some of them have the ability to map out the touchpad to the keyboard, so you can use WASD or the arrow keys to kind of emulate the touchpad, and, you know, then you can do things like click the abilities and whatnot, or even bind them to keys, which would be really good for, like, the Doctor Strange freeze rotations. If you had a tap, you might be a little slow there, whereas a multi-tap on a tablet, you'd probably be faster. So let's jump right into it. First thing I'm going to do is show you some of the screenshots that I've had for Proxima today. So, here is one of the teams that I tried today, and this is Quake leading for Carnage and White Tiger. So, of course, Quake is providing the shield leadership, Carnage is my main, and White Tiger was just a filler. She never actually came out on the field. As you can see, my strikers were Hulkbuster for the physical attack, Proxima, Sharog, Iron Fist for attack speed, and Ulik for the physical attack, along with, you know, Hulkbuster. So that team took about a minute and 9 seconds to kill Prox. Pretty solid team. Another team that took about a minute, and this was last week, was Deathlock leading for Carnage and White Tiger, with strikers of Hulkbuster, Ulik, Proxima, DS, which is Doctor Strange, and Elsa. Elsa was kind of a throw-in over there. Elsa didn't have the synergy with that line, because Ulik wasn't in there. Elsa's a good striker for whenever Ulik is out on the field because of the crit boost and everything. Admittedly, I really keep trying to make Ulik happen on the world bosses because of the invincibility, but that is only with physical, so he only does but so well. He's pretty good on Black Dwarf, but most of the energy-based ones, it's kind of hard to make Ulik happen. We're not making Fetch happen on that one. So, the next team up that I tried this last week was pretty much the same thing that I had done in the previous video. Now, I had Hela, Chanty, and Ultron in this slot, with Prox, Sharog, AO, Strange, and Marvel as my strikers. I had it listed as about 40 seconds, no second in rage. This team up is called the Blonde Women. This is actually a team of a 3 setup in the game, and it's pretty good. I like it a lot. I try to use Blonde Women when I can, no pun intended. It's just a really good in-game setup, and as you can see here, they were only about 10 seconds off the previous team that I had. So these guys went 51 seconds, and they had Prox, Sharog, AO, Strange, and Wiccan as the strikers. So that's movement speed, increased damage against bosses and increased energy attack because that's what Enchantress is. Marvel and Peggy they didn't really do anything. I mean, Marvel started off and took a few swipes, but Enchantress just pretty much runs the whole match. And I think if I switched right to Enchantress, it might have even been quicker, but, you know, my Marvel's T2, I like to try to give her a shot whenever possible. Up next for today, this is a new one for me. This is a slightly skewed version of a team that I had here, and just ignore the time for a second because, yeah. So previously, for the Sharog team up, I had Marvel leading for the energy boost, Sharog and Hype. So I did that in the first week. They were about 30 seconds. Then I tried with Ironheart, Yellow Jacket, and I Am. So that would be Iron Man. So that was Yellow Jacket doing the attacking, Ironheart leading. They lasted about a minute 25. Their strikers were Prox, Sharog, Strange, Carnage for the damage reduction, and Wiccan for the energy boost. I threw Carnage in there to protect YJ a little bit. I wasn't too sure how he would work out. It was my first time trying him. And I'll show you my YJ at the end over here. I mean, a minute 25 is respectable. And, you know, YJ and Iron Man, those two together, Yellow Jacket, Iron Man, I mean, those are farmable guys. They're not really, really tough to get. So it's good for up-and-comers to the game. Ironheart, obviously, that's a paywall character right now, so, you know, you've got to drop a little bit to get her, but she led for this team again, and as you can see here, Ironheart leading, Sharog doing all the work, and Kingpin there for shits and giggles. This has to be the most fun team I've put up against any world boss ever. There was one Black Dwarf team that it was such a slaughter on Black Dwarf. I was almost in tears with just happy laughter as to how much I was taking that guy to the woodshed. Forget the woodshed. I was taking him to the back corner of the jail of the woodshed with that team up. And I was just giggling my ass off for that one. These guys, Sharog just, she was mad today. I don't know what was her problem, but she took Proxima and beat her the fuck down with this lineup. 22 seconds? I mean, I know there's a lot of very advanced MFF players out there who do world bosses in like 10, but to me, this is my first time that I've had a team up just walk all over somebody in that short of a time. The Ronin Loki Clea one against Black Dwarf, yeah, Ronin Loki Clea, that was fast too, and that was a raffle stomp, but it was a little slower than this, and it was just a matter of I was surviving with like full hit points, and at the same time Dwarf was getting slaughtered. But this was, I mean, this was Godzilla versus Bambi on this one. And you can see my strikers here of Prox, AO, Strange, Marvel, and Wiccan. So that's heavily energy boosted. And Prox, whenever you see her, she's not really there for the movement speed boost. She's there for just being a good striker. AO brings in the dome. Strange, of course, does boss freezing. And I don't care if I'm bringing in a physical team. Freezing a boss for X amount of seconds, I mean, that's just free damage. It's literally candy out of a piñata at that point in time. So, and then Marvel and Wiccan for energy boosting. You know, 6-starring Wiccan has been one of the best things that I've done recently. Getting to add more energy strikers to teams is really, I think for me, made a major difference. And I'm sitting there trying to click the next arrow. Alright, so up next we have another team from today, and you'll see this in a lot of my boss kills. This is what I call the universals, basically. Ronan leads for a Loki and Hela team up. So Loki and Hela have some synergy, and then Ronan just leads for them. Loki sits out there and does all the work. On procs, it's a little bit slower than Black Dwarf, because sometimes you get in a bad pattern of the spear stuns. You might avoid the initial one, but then the one comes from behind, and you're stunned, and then a new wave comes out. And, I mean, this is a nice ISO reward here. But again, strikers of Chanty for the mind damage, Sharog, AO, Strange, Wiccan. You know, pretty solid. And again, relatively accessible to the up-and-comers. I mean, Ronan, he doesn't really do much. He's just there for the leadership. Everybody tells you to get Loki and convert him to Floki. So, I mean, this is an absolute mainstay character. And Hela provides a nice little boost with Loki. And then finally, we have a double screenshot. I apologize for the dumb screenshot there. So, for procs, in my first video I talked about the first teams that I was using against her and everything like that. Since then I've been recording some other teams, and you've seen screenshots of them. Missing is Strange, Clea, and Iron Man from today, so Clea and Strange have a team up, Iron Man and Strange have a team up, so it's a double Strange. And the strikers were Chanty, Sharog, Wiccan, Marvel, Captain Marvel, and AO, and they went about 52 seconds. So that was a lot of fun. Last week I said, you know what, I rarely ever do speed teams on these guys. I really should try to throw a speed team in there, because I feel like I kind of underrepresent them in all of these world boss kills. So I did Silk leading for Elsa and Gwenpool, and it worked out pretty well. I had Hulkbuster, Ulik, Iron Fist, Strange, and Ultron as the strikers, and that lasted a minute 44. So it was probably one of the slowest teams that I put up against any boss. But Elsa's just pretty solid. I mean, her red flame, it just lets her walk through a lot of stuff. And that's pretty nice to see. Now, I had a lot of failed attempts today for some new teams. Like, I tried Prox on Prox, and that didn't work out too well. I tried Ronan leading for Proxima on Prox, and then Ultron, maybe at the end to have the clones tank some of the spears, and they were very, very close, but they weren't kills. So, if anybody wants to try to take up that torch of Ronan leading for a different set of universals, Ultron's aggro holding clones, and, you know, Prox on Prox crimes, go right ahead. And as you can see, my Corvus Clave is getting developed. I need to give him 3 more rank 4s, and then I can push. Here's my Yellow Jacket, who is on his way to becoming tier 2. He's almost there. He's got one more notch. So he's at 81%. For his armor, well, sort of armor, I guess. It's his Pim particles. And then his armor and his helmet will be the next up. And of course his weapon's already there. So that's how he's looking. And for his ISO set, I rolled Drastic Density. It was an 8-pack, and I decided to stick with it. And I figured, I mean, everybody loves his DPS, and he's probably meant to be a glass cannon. But, you know, I saw an 8, and I just stopped. I was like, well, he's getting all attack, you know, and he's getting a shield. Not bad. I just have to update some of his ISOs. I gave him kind of cheapy ones for a little while before I knew how I was developing him. So, moving on to Black Dwarf. So, Black Dwarf had some revised fighters over there. So in the first video I had Marvel, Sharog, and Kingpin, with Prox, AO, Strange, Carnage, and Ultron being the strikers. Last time I did it, I kept the same team, but I changed it up to AO, Strange, Carnage, Wiccan, and Iron Man, and it took about 45 seconds. Then I did Iron Man, Proxima, and Ant-Man against him with strikers of AO, Strange, Wiccan, Carnage, and Silk. Very strange team up. I'm not too sure what crack I was smoking for that one. And I have a note to play this one tight, which means I won, but it was close. Probably just Iron Man boosting Proxima is what I was doing. Then the next odd team up, or the next alternate team up that I was doing, was AO leading for Chanty and Songbird. So as we know there, that's a blaster combination. That is Ancient One's blaster-related energy attack leadership. So all blast heroes get plus 45 energy attack. And striking for that one was Prox, Strange, Sharog, Wiccan, and Iron Man. Again, about 45 seconds. A fourth alternate team was Clea, Strange, and Iron Fist, with Chanty, AO, Wiccan, IM, and Captain Marvel for the strikers. Lasted about 55 seconds. However, he was locked down enough that he only got one enrage. I played around with the Universal lineup and went with Ronan, Loki, and Hela instead of Ronan, Loki, and Clea. With Chanty, Sharog, AO, Strange, Marvel, they lasted 50 seconds. So I pretty much have Black Dwarf's number at this point. Occasionally he'll catch me out with that big-ass spin and does a YouTube Will It Blend video on my guys, but he's not as annoying as he used to be. For Corvus, I haven't really notched up too many alternate teams for that one. What I did there was for Hela, Chanty, and Ultron, I changed up their strikers a little bit. So previously, I had Prox, Sharog, AO, Strange, and Marvel. Next time I went with Prox, Sharog, Strange, Carnage, and Marvel. Don't know why. Maybe I thought the team needed to live a little bit longer. It's Enchantress, not necessary over there. Then I did AO, Strange, and Satana. So that is again another double Strange. It's Strange and Satana, and then Strange and Ancient One. The strikers on that one were Chanty, Prox, Sharog, Hela, and Marvel. Then I changed it up and put Gwenpool in for Proxima. Then finally on Corvus, I ran Ronan, Loki, and Proxima with Chanty, Sharog, AO, Strange, and Marvel. I didn't seem to record the times or the outcomes of these, but they beat them, so it obviously works over there. Moving on, we have Shuggy, Supergiant. I have Ulik, Carnage, and White Tiger, with only 3 of the strikers recorded of Ulik, Carnage, and Thor. And I have it written down that Ulik did the first. So back over on Corvus, I don't know why I have this out of place, but I have it that when Ulik was in there with the Carnage team up, Ulik tackled the first 2 Corvus Glaives. So that's finally where we get to see Ulik actually do something better than just be, a buffer and everything. That's just a side note. For some reason I have that down in my Shuggy notes. Didn't record any alternate teams. I didn't fight her the last Shuggy that I had the chance to. I kind of missed that day. At least in terms of world bosses. I did everything else. Coming up, we have Ebony Maw. So, Ebony Maw, I did some variants over there. I did Ulik, Carnage, and Thor with Hulkbuster, Prox, Sharog, Strange, and Elsa. Again, using Elsa to boost Ulik's crit if I wanted it, but I pretty much stick with Carnage on that one. Ulik and Thor have a team up. So not only am I using Ulik to boost Carnage, I'm also grabbing a team up bonus over there for him. Which is pretty cool. I mean, I do like my Ulik. His crit dropped a little bit because he had a double crit obelisk, and the orange crit went up, and then the blue crit changed over to dodge. But he got another physical shield out of it instead of that freeze. It's going to continue to get enhanced, but as you can see, his details, his crit is pretty damn high. He's running almost 30% crit damage, and he dropped the critical rate from 70 something down to 65. But he's still doing pretty good. So him and Thor have a team up that they get to bring to that particular battle, which is nice. And then for continued Ebony Maw, I have Hela, Chanty, and Satana with Prox, Sharog, Ao, Strange, and Marvel. I have a note that Hela started off for a little bit, and then Chanty just stood there and banged the whole rest of the fight. It lasted about a minute. Then I did another alternate on Ebony Maw with the blonde women, with Prox, Sharog, Ao, Strange, and Wiccan. So we've covered the blonde women team up earlier in the video. And I have a note that Marvel got Ebony Maw down to halfway, and Chanty came in for the finish. I did another alternate on Ebony Maw last week of Ironheart, Sharog, and Iron Man, with Prox, Ao, Strange, Wiccan, and Marvel. I have a feeling that was probably a lot of fun and very good. The IMIH Sharog set is nice, or now I've discovered IM Doctor Strange as a pretty nice trio. Ao, Strange, and Clea also fought Ebony Maw together. That's a pretty solid team up for Strange. Ao boosting his damage, also giving him synergy, and then Strange and Clea together getting some synergy. That's a fun one to do. And then finally, for the Universals, I did Ronan, Loki, and Hela. So Loki was doing the battle, Ronan was leading, and then you have the Loki-Hela team-up bonus. Finally, for Thanos, which I didn't really talk too much about in the first video, I have 4 people that face Thanos, and that is Marvel, Sharog, and Kingpin, with strikers of Prox, Ao, Strange, Carnage, Iron Man. Very good results. Kingpin comes in and tanks meteor swarms with his clones, if need be. I am finding out better how to avoid them and not start the domino effect, but if need be, Kingpin's there to just be a meat shield. Ulik, Carnage, White Tiger, with HB, Prox, or Hulkbuster, Prox, Sharok, Strange, and Ultron. Solid. Ulik went for a little while. He died, and Carnage did the rest, with White Tiger using her invincibility move for meteors. Ao, Strange, Iron Fist with Chanty, Prox, Sharog, Marvel, and Iron Man. I used Strange the whole way. If he got in trouble, I just brought in Ao for the dome, the heal dome. Thunderdome. 2 men enter. Doctor Strange leaves. And then finally, Hela, Chanty, and Clea with Prox, Sharog, Strange, Iron Man, and Marvel, Captain Marvel. And I just let Chanty sit there and bang the whole fight, which is the intent. Everybody knows Chanty can solo Thanos. The Ronan Loki teams failed against Thanos. 2 weeks for me. Ronan Loki Thor and Ronan Loki Prox are not working out too well for me on Thanos. Probably it's a meteor issue. When Thanos comes up again, I want to try that. So, as you can see, generally you see for me Carnage-based teams, Chanty-based teams, Doctor Strange-based teams, Sharog-based teams, and Loki teams. And I am trying to diversify a little bit to provide, you know, informative team-ups for people who might not have access to all that I do, which is really not a lot in the grand scheme of things. But the more teams that I try that actually work, the more I can relay them to you, the viewers, and maybe you'll hit upon one that you can actually staff with the people that you have and be like, hey, you know, Napalm said in this video that this team up worked out. I have these guys. Let me give it a try. For the Alliance Battle Days, I don't remember how much I covered them in the first video, but Universal Day, Ronan, Loki, Hela. I have Ronan taking the first Frost Beast or two, and then Loki finishes it out. I failed with Loki, Thor, and Angela. I don't know if Thor was leading that one. It might have been Loki. I might have to retry that one again and check out what the leader is, but there's not much of a reason why Loki, Thor, and Angela should fail. Because it's all on Loki, so... for Blast, Extreme AB, that day I was running I Am Strange and Kingpin. I kind of dipped my toes in XAB a little bit. I do not really try for XAB because I'm not in an Alliance tournament clan currently. There are other divisions in my clan structure who do fight it, but not the division that I'm in, so to me, Extreme AB is like the, you know, the final frontier. It's the new shit for me, so I'm not going to do particularly well in XAB yet. For Female Day, originally I did Loki Chanty Hela, and I liked it, but I realized that I needed to free up Loki, so I now use Female Day with the blonde women. Like I said, I told you the blonde women is going to come up a lot for me, and I like them. I fight the World Boss Invasion with blonde women a lot. It's fun. It's a nice trio. For Universal XAB, I was running Ronan, Loki, Hela. That's why I wanted to free up Loki from Female Day. Supervillain Day, I've used Loki, Carnage, and Chanty, and I've also used Yellow Jacket, Loki, and Chanty. And then for Speed XAB, I was running Agent 13, Elsa, and Silk. So I was going for cooldown reduction there. Blast Day, I've run AO Strange and Chanty. Also run AO Strange and Wiccan. That was more recent. I like that AO Strange and Wiccan set. For Universal Hero XAB, I did Clea, Marvel, and Singularity because the skill reduction is off the charts on that one. And then I also tried Captain Marvel, Satana, and Damon, and that one's pretty good too. Basically, it's Miss Marvel most of the way, but Satana can be built to tackle that a little bit too. So I want to work my Satana up a little bit. Speed Day, I'm listing that I have not had a successful Speed Day in Alliance Battle. And I think that is because I don't have a Black Widow that's in the right shape to do it. I go in with Agent 13, Elsa, and Silk. And I just think I need to maybe play that one better. So I don't have anything XAB on Speed Day because Speed Day still vexes me. But hopefully not for too much longer. And then finally wrapping it up, we have Unlimited Day, which I tend to run AO Chanty and Clea. In Combat Villain XAB, I have Ulik, Carnage, and Venom. So Carnage and Venom have a team up, and then Ulik is bumping Carnage. So again, it's all on Carnage for that one. I've heard that's the one where you really need to work up Warwolf and shit. And that's something that I am trying, but I'm casual about XAB. That is not my goal right now. My goal would actually be rather to have more fun with the game than focus on XAB, but, you know, I know the benefits of having working XAB teams. And then finally, Combat Day, I have Ulik, Carnage, and Blackbuster. For Unlimited XAB, I have Chanty, Loki, and Thor. I used Chanty the whole way, scored reasonable, and then I repeated it with AO Doctor Strange and Chanty, and I got a better score. So that's what I've been running currently. There have been a few Extreme Alliance battles where I've simply survived until the clock ran out, but I've never actually won an XAB yet, but I'm not upset about that. My goal is to complete a speed day on regular Alliance battle, and, you know, just continue to enjoy my characters. So Corvus is currently my Black Order that's getting bumped up. White Tiger's not going anywhere. Ronin isn't. Gwenpool might. Iron Fist might. Satana, happened to read a really good Reddit article on some guy's setup on Satana. I think I would like to work her, but my current project is Yellow Jacket. And getting Captain America 6 more bios, because Captain America has a ton of team-ups with the people that I use, and I would like to be able to insert her, simply as a team-up boost. There's my Unworthy Thor, there's Hela. Here is my newly decked out Agent 13. And then that's pretty much it. So that's really it for my projects right now. I've heard I should do some things with Groot and Wasp and everything like that, but Wasp is mostly about the Alliance tournament, so I'm not really going heavy on that. But I'm going to heed what people have said about Warwolf. He'll be a project. Tom Selleck is going to be a project eventually, low down on the list for me right now. Ironheart is capped out. She just needs the experience now. And, you know, gear and shit. The Warriors 3 are kind of coming along a little bit. And Medusa, not really a whole lot of focus and stuff down this low. So, thanks a lot, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you got any comments on the boss teams or the Alliance battle teams that I've used, let me know. And if you definitely have any input on Speed Day as to what I can use, as a matter of fact, let's see if we can submenu, Marvel Universe, Speed. I'm thinking Hawkeye. I've heard Lady Hawkeye is doing pretty well with that, but she's now available for me at a fairly high level. Gwenpool's really close. Elsa is definitely there for the speed team up. My Black Widow is not. She was always considered very classic for Speed Day, but I don't know if she is. And my Silk is in good shape too. So Silk and Elsa are probably my best speed currently. And everybody else is usually just a stat stick, but let me know what you think of Hawkeye for Speed Day, or Lady Hawkeye. And yeah, I would definitely appreciate it. Thanks guys, have a good one.